Hey.
Hello. Going really well already.
I know. We're having the best time.
Should I be the boss since I'm interviewing you?
Yeah, well, because I'm really nervous.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry. Don't be nervous, Lindsay. I have this. Hello, everyone. Hello, Women with Books. My name's Laura von Holt, and I'm taking over Women with Books today so that I can interview your favorite host, Lindsay Emory. That was so pro.
That was really good.
Thanks. So I was thinking that this is like when like Jimmy Fallon has to go on vacation and then like Pink or like The Rock will take over for him like guest hosting.
Are you telling me The Rock is about to come on my show?
I wish I could tell you that.
Oh. Dang it.
Yeah. No, I'm the celebrity. I'm the celebrity.
Oh, you're the celebrity guest
I'm
host.
the
Got it.
host. And I'm qualified because I also have a podcast and I've been on this podcast. So,
yeah, you are totally qualified.
Totally qualified.
That's why I selected you, because of your professional
Yes,
resume.
and also because I was like, guess what, Lindsay? When your book comes out, I'm going to interview you.
If you could see my face right now, it is just like, oh.
So you have a book coming out. Okay, here's my goal of this podcast interview. Is that you're Lindsay Emory, you're my friend. I think you're really cool. You do a great job of interviewing other people, and so everyone else that listens to the podcast knows that you're cool, but they don't know how cool you are because you have to talk about other people when they're on your podcast. You can't talk about yourself. So my goal for this is to make sure that all of the people listening now have a better idea of how cool you are. And don't get nervous that you're not cool enough. You are. Okay, so okay, first I want to talk about your book, The Royal Runaway. Is coming out in just a few weeks on October, is it October 9th? 9th?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this book is wonderful, and you're a wonderful writer, and this is very exciting because you haven't had the full length out in a while. So everybody, like, gird your loins. You're gonna love this book. So I feel like you should. I know you've talked about the book on the podcast when you've been interviewing the Fug Girls and other people with Royal Books, but will you give your fans just a brief premise of the book?
Okay, yes, I will. So, it starts off in the aftermath of a royal wedding that has been canceled because the groom has not shown up.
Yeah, that's awkward.
So that was the premise that I started with. So there's this royal wedding, and the princess is sitting there in her castle, and she's like, "What? WTF?
WTF? I've been left at the altar.
WTF? What do I do now?" And so, she's sent away. They have to, like, because the publicity and the paparazzi and the gossip and the rumors, but they really don't know. And what she's told is, like, he left in the middle of the night and goes back to his estate or something. That's where they all assume. But no one has seen him. And then 4 months later, she's back in the capital and of a country that I made up,
which we have to talk a lot about because it's really amazing. But it's a European country.
It is a European country. Yes.
Okay.
And so she's back in the capital, and they're like, "Okay, now it's time for you to start being, a princess again." And she's, understandably, she's got some issues.
Yeah.
And she sneaks out of the castle one night and has a she runs into a man, as one does.
Yes.
And then she runs into him again and slowly gets drawn into a web of this man might have the secrets to what happened to her missing fiance. And she's kind of like, hell, I'm going to figure out what happened to my missing fiance. And then it just kind of snowballs from there. It's a mystery. It has mystery, it has romance, it has adventure, it has suspense, it has humor.
And humor. It is very funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So I just took everything I liked and smushed it together.
Good job. Okay, so you kind of nailed it in that you wrote a book about a royal wedding that comes out the year of not one, but 2 royal weddings. And I believe your book comes out like 5 days before Eugenie's wedding?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
thank
Royal
you,
Runaway
Eugenie.
comes out on the 9th, and Princess Eugenie
Of York
will be getting married, I believe, that Friday.
Okay, so this is great. I just had a promo idea. Did you send her a copy of your book, like, with best wishes? Lindsay, with because at the very least,
how does one send a book to a princess?
you just send it to the castle, or you send it to whatever. I forget which house it is, because like Prince Charles's Clarence house, you can send stuff to Kensington for them.
Okay.
So you can totally send something to like her dad as like on behalf of the couple, and then I bet you will get a thank you note.
So this is interesting. I'll have to bring this up with my UK editor, because it's being published also in the UK.
Okay.
And I'll have to see. Maybe they have an in though.
Yeah, you can totally, like, because you can mail stuff to the Queen.
Because they know everyone. They all know each other.
They all know each other in
right?
England.
Okay.
Everyone in London, it like has tea with the Queen like every Thursday. This is how
that's
that works.
so cool.
Yeah, that's how that works, Lindsay. Don't you know? You wrote a book about it. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna send some books to the royals. You should send one to Harry and Meghan too. Like, they should all just get one.
Yeah, I think maybe this came up when Harry and Meghan did get married, but I didn't have physical copies then, so it was.
Oh yeah, okay. So now you have physical copies. Now you send
because they don't
them.
open up attachments.
Right? No, they do not. No, they really don't. But if you send a physical gift, like, it has to get like logged and like an archival thing. I know this because when I used to do pinup calendars, I sent one to Obama, and then I got a thank you note, and I was like, this works.
Nice. Okay. Putting this on the list right now.
Yeah. Okay, great. So you've already got a starred review in Kirkus, which is huge, but now you're going to get like a royal commendation probably. This is so good.
Order of the Quill.
Order of the Quill. Okay, but so back to the royal wedding. So, I mean, everyone loves a royal wedding, and now it's a year of royal weddings. And I know because I flew to Dallas to watch the royal wedding with you and our friend Alexandra Houghton, but you are also a fan of royal weddings.
Yes, I am.
So when you were creating the premise for the story, what was your kind of favorite thing about imagining a royal wedding that doesn't happen?
The kind of the aftermath. I mean, that's what I was focusing on. It's like I made a couple of mentions in it about what all the things that would have to be undone.
Mm-hmm.
I made a comment about, I think, tea towels that had to mysteriously disappear from the shelves, and all the secretaries and stuff that had to, like, what you just said, like, write all the notes and undo things. And then I also kind of made a small reference to, like, the political implications.
Yes!
You know, there's a politician in the book who makes a snide comment about her wedding dress. And yes, she's had to spend, you know, all this money on a wedding dress that wasn't used.
Right.
And she's like, well, it's still in a box. And then she realizes, she's like, they can't even put this in a museum because the wedding didn't happen. So, like, the waste of it all.
Totally.
Was what I
thought
about.
Because there's, like, so much that happens after, like, right now there's a documentary, and, like, half the documentary is Meghan Markle showing off her wedding dress and talking about the meaning of it. Like, these become, like, important historical artifacts. And then it's just shoved in the corner. I have another question about the imaginary politics. So the fiance who disappears is like the 9th Duke of Stedding. Is that very good? Right? Thank you. That's like the only fact I know. So what I love about your book is that it really does match up with the way that European royal families work today, where it's like they're all basically related to Queen Victoria at some point. There's like many allusions to the Holy Roman Empire, and I had to keep being like, I forgot how the Holy Roman Empire worked.
Well, actually, can I tell you a secret?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's why I put it in, because no one really knows.
Oh, good. Okay, right. Because I was like, I feel like somewhere in my world history, like every time they talk about the Ottoman Empire and the Holy Roman Empire, I like have to go back and like Wikipedia it.
Mentioning the Holy Roman Empire is like waving a magic wand. Or, like, these are not the droids you're looking for. Like, all I have to do is say that, and people will be like, oh, yes.
Because no one wants to look like they don't remember what the Holy Roman Empire did. Okay, this is good. Okay, but so
pro tip,
everybody. Okay, so the guy she's supposed to marry is like vaguely like royal related, like he's good enough to like qualify for like a future queen's husband.
Yes.
Okay, so that is also like kind of, I mean, it's dramatic because he's like gone, like no one sees him, they just assume he's like hiding in shame.
Right.
But it's also like, there's definitely some, that was like a faux pas, like diplomacy wise.
Oh, yeah.
That is faux pas to like jilt a future queen. So I was trying to imagine, like, what would we have all done if like Kate Middleton didn't show up to marry William, or vice versa?
Honestly, okay, so there was some gossip.
Okay.
And I'm going to kind of like pivot a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there was some gossip leading up to the days before Prince Albert and Princess Charlene's wedding of Monaco.
Okay.
And I can't remember what, I read celebrity gossip blogs, okay?
Yeah.
But there was the gossip that perhaps she did not want to go through with it. And I'm just saying that my kind of view on celebrity gossip blogs is that once it gets to like a quote unquote reputable gossip blog site, someone knows something.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's a telephone game. Like something happened to make people talk, to get it to, you know, Lainey Gossip or you know, whoever.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that was kind of stuck in the back of my head, like because also Prince Albert of Monaco kind of has some skeletons in his closet.
Oh, okay.
You know, he has some other children with other women, and so like maybe that kind of sparked something in my head about, you know, if she did not go through with it, you know, and it, you know, what would be the consequences? But I think they'd probably lock her or Kate Middleton up for a while, honestly.
Yeah,
and in a very like humane way,
not like in the Tower of London, but in a like.
No, like you need to sit here.
You're
and
like
think
national
about,
security risk almost.
Almost.
Yeah, because you get so close by the time of the wedding of knowing stuff.
Right, and that, and like you need to think about it, and we need to control the situation, and you guys need to work out your problems.
Yeah.
I don't think they would just let them like catch a yacht to Aruba or something.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it would be like you need to figure it out, and that's I think what maybe the underpinning of my story is that there was definitely a mystery because it wasn't like Christian, is the fiance in my book. He just disappears, and they try and explain it away, and there's so much gossip and stuff, but it wasn't like he just had a change of heart. There really was a mystery to it.
Okay, so and then sorry, I love so much about your book I can't even talk. Okay. So what's amazing is you have Princess Thea, the one who's jilted at the altar, but she's also like she's the queen's kind of favorite grandchild, and her dad is like a little iffy. You're like, I don't know if he's really gonna inherit. So she's really being groomed, and she's left at the altar. Okay, so first of all, you have this like a very intricate royal family that does not exist, which is like one of my favorite parts, and you tie it in really well with like the rest of European history. And I kept like going to Wikipedia to look up more about things you would mention, and then I was like, oh wait, no, yes, none of this has happened. I was like, oh, I really want to read about like Marie Elsa or something. like
Elsa Marie.
Elsa Marie. Oh my god, I always mess it up. Okay. But I need you to pronounce for us the name of your country because there's been some controversy amongst our friend group.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
And this was kind of dangerous for me because all along I've had a pronunciation in my head. Yeah. But then I didn't say anything because, you know, who really cares, and because I want readers to kind of you know, have their own. It's kind of like why you don't want to say like what celebrity you picked, you know, or whatever, because you kind of just like, that's your experience, you can pronounce this made-up language any way you want. But and one of my editors was very firm. Like we had a conference call and someone was like, how do you say this? And one of my editors was like, it's this. And I'm like, and I didn't say anything then because again, who cares? You know, like it's not really that big of a deal. Until I don't know if I can announce this. Okay, it's a secret. Okay. I mean, it hasn't been announced publicly, but I think I can.
I think you could say it's a potential
audiobook.
Got it. It's okay. I don't think that's a state secret. I feel like most books have them. So if there's a potential one, you're safe.
It hasn't been announced yet, so we all get weird. Yeah. But they were asking, you know, they have to know because they were reading the book aloud. Yeah. And then I kind of had a feeling like, well, maybe I shouldn't say anything because maybe it should just be like however someone interprets it. And my agent was like, no, you get to decide. So I will...
Okay, tell us the name. This is the definitive version, people.
Okay. The word is spelled Drieden. Mm-hmm. And it rhymes with Sweden.
Okay. So it is the royal family of Drieden.
Drieden, yes.
Okay. And they speak Driedish.
Yes.
But they also speak English, a lot of them. Or at least the princess does, because she's good at lots of languages, because she's a princess.
Yes, I believe she says she has 4 languages.
Great. Okay. That's a really good... That's my other favorite thing. Being an American, we're just, like, so lazy about, like, not learning very many other languages, and then you travel around the world and they all know their language and English and other many things, and you're like, wow, I have not been putting in the effort to be a global citizen. I mean, Americans just don't put in efforts to be global citizens in general, but yeah, the language thing, we could really... Your princess inspired me to get better at languages. I'll just say that. Yeah. Okay, so we're in the country of Drieden, which has an elaborate...
What did you think it was?
I thought it was Dryden.
Yeah.
That was Dryden. Okay, so we're in the country of Drieden, and the island that she has to go away to while she's like recovering from being jilted at the altar. So Princess Thea stays for a while at this island. Now, is it Perpetua?
Perpetua.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So this is a very important island, and it like becomes important later on in the plot. I won't spoil it, but it's also like a cool island because it's where you send women who can't be controlled.
Yes.
And that's another one of my favorite things, is that you have this elaborate history that you invented that's totally fake, but it also is like a constant character in the book, because like every time she doesn't know what to do, she's like, well, let's see, in 17 so and so like my ancestor so and so did this, so I think I'll go with this option. I'm like, because I love it, number one, for just like the fact that you made this very elaborate history, but then number two, like I feel like sometimes we're like, I don't know what to do, but my grandmother would have done this, and she can go back like 1,000 years to like what her ancestors would do if she's stuck.
I know.
Yeah.
She's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't do that personally, but I mean, Theodora does, and she even does it in a fight with her love, you know.
Oh,
she's like, she throws down like her queen ancestry.
It's good. Go. No, it's good. And one of the beautiful things to watch is like she starts off as this kind of like confused character, and she's, you know, it's like there's this weird thing of like she was jilted at the altar, she's been sent away to kind of like, you know, recover, but also so they can do like damage control without having like a crying bride or something around. I think they think she's going to be hysterical. Then she comes back and it's very overwhelming, so she sneaks out of the castle, which is just fun to imagine. Like I think there were some recent photos where someone thought Meghan Markle had snuck out, but it was just somebody walking her dog near Kensington Palace.
Or was it?
I know, right? Drama. But it's great to think of like that there's some small beautiful capital in Europe, and the princess can put on a baseball cap and go drink whiskey and then end up like meeting a strange man.
Well, I did, and even that though, I had somebody tell me like this is, or maybe it was in a review, but like this is unrealistic, and I'm like, it's not, because there are these smaller countries. I mean, we're obsessed here in America with the British royal family, and I don't even know that they don't sneak out. I mean,
Harry totally sneaks out.
Yeah, and Kate goes, you know, shopping with her kids or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but like Sweden and Denmark and the Netherlands, they all have royal families who are like, you know, going to work out, and like there was just an announcement that there was one princess who was moving to Miami, and so there are smaller countries where people might see a royal with like a discreet security force,
right? and like the city isn't as sprawling as like London, and it's very walkable, you know, like you can kind of easily blend in once you get around the corner from the palace, right? So I think it's totally legit. But yeah, so she's a princess with like you know, obviously a large knowledge of her own country's history. But also what I thought was really interesting was to watch someone who'd suffered a heartbreak then kind of question her own heartbreak, because she was like, was I marrying out of duty? Was I marrying out of love? She has an opportunity to question what her choices were. But then to watch a modern princess navigate her royal duty is, I think, a really fun arc that's just kind of through it, of like, how do you watch a modern woman you know, navigate kind of the trappings of royalty, but also hold on to her conviction and her duty. And one of the wonderful parts, like there's all this drama of like looking for her fiance and international intrigue and like running away and then kind of like having this romance. But the whole through line is that like you have to remember that her other great love is to her country, and watching her fight for her country as well as for herself is really fun, because I think now I'm just telling you how much I love your book, but
no, I love it.
Okay, great. But because I personally felt a little bit worried for Meghan Markle. Okay, when she got married, I was like a little nervous. I was like, you're an independent woman. You've been married before. You've had a very successful career in a very tough industry, and like you have fallen in love and you seem to be okay because you like really want to do this charitable work and you understand that it's a great responsibility. But I keep feeling a little bit nervous for her because I'm like, it's gonna be, you gotta find your place. I know, I think I'm probably projecting a lot, but I'm like, it must be hard to like find your place, to be an independent woman standing for yourself in this like firm, of a family. And so getting to watch a woman define for herself what her royal duty means was a very delicious part.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think that was very character driven on Thea's part. Like I knew who she was and the choices she would need to make or would likely make in those situations. Yeah. But I think when I was writing it also, I realized that she could have just as easily made lots of other choices. Yeah. With different consequences. Mm-hmm. And, and I look forward to, possibly getting to explore all that one day, because I think as in watching Meghan Markle it's really, your imagination can tell you where you want to go. I mean, she can... she has a framework. Yes, there are traditions. Yes, there are structures. But she has the love of her husband next to her who's going to support her no matter what. And it looks like she has the support of his family as long as, she doesn't go too crazy. Right. And, I don't know. I think she can just kind of write her own story. Yeah. That's poetic.
I love it. No, I think also what is cool about so you've been saying Thea and I've been saying Thea.
That's one I'm not gonna like throw down.
Okay, but I mean, no, Lindsay, you invented the world. I want to get it right. So Princess Thea lives in the country of Dreden. Okay, but yeah, was one of the other fun things about the world building that you did, and I want to ask you a lot of questions about it, but having this big history in it, is that one of her, you're like solving a mystery, and there's all sorts of escapades involved in that, and all sorts of pressures from different parts of the family for her to do different things. But one of her strengths that ends up like saving her in a lot of situations is this like super nerdy like body of knowledge that she has, and I think when I was reading it, there's a very pivotal plot moment, and I was like, oh my god, you solved this with law and history. It wasn't like forensic science or like anything. It was just like she had like a particular bit of information, and I was like, it was so rewarding on this like deeply nerdy level. But so to that point, can you talk about like the world building, like how you got the names of things, where you got the idea for a lot of this history, and how you like track it now? Or like what do you do now that you made this history and then you have a book and like there's maybe future projects that involve this world? Like what's it like to build that world, and now what do you do to wrangle it?
So building it was just like truly plumbing the depths of my creativity. Okay. It was just like I'd get to a point and be like, oh, let's just come up with something fantastic and let's just do I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, it just kind of all worked.
Was it just kind of like you would need something you would just need a reason, or you would need a thing, and so you would invent a bit of history that sounded like it could work?
Somewhat, yeah. And then a lot of it, is just based on me collecting bits and pieces of historical facts over the years. And And I did really like the idea that Thea was going to save herself, basically. I mean, yes, she was a princess. Yes, she was, getting involved with spies and treasonous criminal characters and stuff. But eventually, I mean, and there's one scene where someone else saves her, but eventually she comes back and, like, saves the day, on several occasions. And, I don't know.
Well, it's okay. So here's my question. My next question that made me think of that. No, it's fine, because I was like, I have a better question. So what are your favorite fake historical moments that you invented? I think I have one, but I don't know what yours are.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's holidays, there's games, there was even like a bit of sports history.
I know. I really liked some of the ones that come out when Thea is with Nick, just because I like his response to him. So, like, she'll come out with something that's, like, really important to her, and he's like, yeah, not so much. So, like, the one about, like, the famous Dredish, the guy who invented, like, the first Dredish book. Okay.
Yes. Like, the history printing, great.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, that had already been done. And
I was like the Gutenberg Bible or something.
Yeah, I mean, okay. And so I kind of like that because it kind of, to me, just shows, like, how we all think our own history is, like, so, like, world changing. Yeah. And in the broader scheme of things, it's, okay, that's nice. Your country revolted. Ours did too. Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's like, meh. And I really liked the one. Well, of course, the one who was sent away to Perpetua. Yes. And kind of that history that they send women who can't be controlled away. And, like, she asked, so there's a queen who asked for a divorce. Instead of giving it to her, they sent her away. And so...
that makes me angry for her.
Yeah, actually, and then, so I thought I had made that up. And then I was just listening to a history podcast the other day, and that... Oh, wait, when did I read that? No, I think it was Rachel Hawkins' Sexy History.
Oh, I love Rachel Hawkins'
on
Sexy History.
Twitter. Yeah, I do too. And she came up with, like, George III sent his wife away when she took a lover and, like, imprisoned her for 22 years.
Oh my god.
I'm like, hey, that sounds familiar.
Well, that's better than, like, Henry VIII. He would just take off your head.
Yeah, so. Much more humane.
Yeah, totally.
And then I think my other favorite one was the one at the end, or when Thea does the showdown, and she talks about her ancestor that basically, like, rode out with the Dredish Navy and destroyed the Portuguese, and her son was, I mean, it was, like, so bloodthirsty and amazing. I'm like, yeah, what if, I mean, like, how would that change your view of the world? All of us women, if you knew that your great grandmother like captained a ship, destroyed the Portuguese fleet, and I mean, her kids got killed in the process, but
so it's like Joan of Arc, but like bloodthirsty pirate queen at the same time.
I mean, like, what would you how different would we all see the world if we knew that history and could claim it?
I feel like this is what Beyonce's great grandchildren will feel like.
So what were your favorite parts?
Well, so just that there was so much history. I do remember, like, the Gutenberg Bible moment. I did love the idea that they were just, like, women that had been going to this island, and they were probably actually, like, the coolest and best assets of the country, but because, like, history has been unkind to women, they've been sent away. But I also, I always mess up her name. Is it Elsa Marie or Marie?
It's Elsa Marie. Queen Elsa Marie.
Yes, so there's Queen Elsa Marie, and there's, like, this festival every year for her birthday, but I'm not sure if it's her real birthday or if it's, like, the Queen of England where you have, like, 2 birthdays.
It's her real birthday.
It's her real birthday. Okay, and everybody, like, dresses up. And
the British are way too practical to deal with more than one birthday.
Great. Okay, got it. The British are like, well, your birthday's inconvenient and the weather's better, so we have 2 birthdays.
Yes.
The
British are like, suck it up. That's your birthday.
Suck it up. It's your birthday. Okay, so they have this festival and everyone dresses up, right? Right. In, like, 1700s clothing.
Yeah, they can, or they just, like, take a long weekend.
Okay, great. So in my mind, it's like in the second season of Outlander or third season when they go to Paris, in my mind, it's like all, like, those costumes. Yeah. But, like, they go out on boats. There's fireworks. It's like a long festival. So I just like that. And I forget why she gets a festival.
Well, because it was this, they were contemporaries of Marie Antoinette.
Oh, okay.
And they saw what was going on in France, and they did not want to have their heads cut off.
Oh, great.
So they decided to make it a national holiday. Of course, it has to be about them, right? Of course, it has to be the Queen's birthday. It can't just be like, people get a holiday.
Right.
People get a holiday because it's the Queen's birthday. And so they did it to like make, save their heads.
Got it.
And but that's always a popular move.
Right. So we'll give you a like time off from work and a party, and then you won't topple us from the throne. You won't
revolt.
Cool. Yeah. That works. Okay.
Learning. See, it just shows that royal family is very, very smart.
Yeah, they really understand actually how people work. They're like, if you just give me some time off from work, I'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. So, wait. So that made me think. The current queen is Thea's grandmother, and that's Queen Aurelia.
Yes.
Okay. See, look, I already know all my Dredish history. I'm like so good at Dreden. Okay.
Oh, but you asked me how I keep track of it all.
Yeah. How do you keep track of it all?
I really need to do that.
Okay, great. Let's get. Everybody wants to be an assistant. Lindsay has like a collating project you could do.
I do need to probably start a Bible just to keep track of it all, because when I was writing, I just was like I said, it was flowing. I'm diving deep. Whatever. But I think, and then I was really scared because, when they do copy edits and stuff, and like the editors, and I'm like, they are gonna, if I got the wrong one, they're gonna freak out that there's like all this history they can't double check, because in my other books they are double checking my facts and figures. Yeah, and they can't do it in this book, but they did make a list kind of like all of the characters. Yeah. So I think that would be a good starting point for me to be like, okay, then there's this Leopold and Elsa Marie and this ancestor, and I could probably use that as a starting point for a Bible.
Well, our friend Alexis Ann wanted to know, have you already forgotten how to pronounce your own words?
No.
Okay, great. The answer is no.
I don't think so. Okay. No, because I had to go through them. Yeah, I had to go through them for the audiobook. So
okay. So now you got it. Okay. I do remember you were texting. I was texting with you, telling you how I thought something should be pronounced. It was very French.
Yes, I did.
So I contributed. Yeah, I was like, this is how you say your word, Lindsay. Okay.
I think I probably went with that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay. Okay, so we've got Queen Aurelia, who's the current queen, and that's fun to think about, like Queen Elizabeth or any of the like current monarchs, and what it would, what it would be like to be kind of like groomed by them. But she's I don't want to give anything away, but she's kind of a hard ass too. Like she definitely comes from the line of women who like pirate queen, go out and defend their country. She's very savvy, which is also interesting because like your book is very feminist, because I think we like put princesses in a box and we put like doddering old queens in a box, and your queen is definitely aware of everything and making like Machiavellian machinations wherever she needs to. I don't know if I even said that right, but anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I just want to like give a shout out to her for being like this like almost terrifying queen, even though she's like a sweet grandmother figure. But who we really need to talk about for the people is Nick. So let's go back to grumpy Scottish investigating Nick.
Okay.
Okay. So he's a little grumpy. But he's sweet. Like, don't get me wrong, he's super sweet. And so he reminds me of kind of, I know you have some favorite grumpy cops. Mm-hmm. So who are your favorite grumpy cops?
I think the first one that pops to my mind is so in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Hopper.
Oh yeah.
Is kind of my current favorite, but he's not as, he's just kind of gruff. You know?
Just gruff.
I don't know. It's just kind of an archetype that keeps popping up in my books. I mean, Ty Hatfield in my Sorority Sisters Mysteries was a very taciturn cop too. So I don't know. It's just an archetype that I think is fun to play off with an intrepid heroine, and who keeps getting in trouble, and then having somebody who's like has to keep plucking her out, but also kind of wants to kiss her.
Totally. That's always exciting. No, that tension is always good. Yeah. For her to like constantly be spouting history, and he's like, hold on, let me call in my backup of like men who can scale buildings, and then we will actually solve this. Like,
exactly.
And she's like, no, I can solve this with historical figures. Like, no, I've got this.
Yeah, and he's just kind of like rolling his eyes and being like, okay, I have a gun.
Yeah.
Like, do we want to stop and talk about kings?
Yeah.
Or do we want to shoot people?
Yeah, she's like, both. But I think also, for me, one of my favorite types, one of my favorite things about having, when you have a hero who is like a very competent security professional, is that part of the way that like part of their love language is kind of like securing their person. So it is like I get all swoony when he like makes sure her security is all good, but then I also like that there's a tension of like an independent woman being like, that's great that like I'm secure, but also you can't hold me down. You know,
I take a lot of I read like urban fantasy, like Ilona Andrews.
Yeah.
And there's that, I get a lot of inspiration from those books because it's very similar. Like, the woman is powerful. She can handle herself, but the hero still wants to go, like, lock her in a tower.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and sometimes, you know, he'll be justified in doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are stories where that could be justified, but I like the tension of those two things, and also like, okay, well, how do we work? How can we get on the battlefield at the same time and work together? That to me is also very feminist. Like, she's feminist and he's feminist in that he's like, all right, I'm recognizing your strengths, I'm recognizing your agency. I'll let you come along with me.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna do this together.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, they're gonna do it together, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely very satisfying. Plus, like, he's very swoony. He can really get into places. What's great too is that she's good at sneaking
That's
out.
what she said.
Yeah, right. That's what she said. I mean, they do. But no, it's great because he's like really into like locking it down and making sure there's no like fight risk. And her favorite thing to do is like sneak out and be among the people. So it's also like.
Yeah, there's a conflict there,
Yeah,
right?
it's a conflict there. But it's also it's
he's like, please
delicious.
stand behind these gates, and she's like, I would prefer not to.
Not really going to. But that also is like, I mean, that's why it's called the Royal Runaway, is that we've got a princess who does like to like sneak out and does go on her own adventure. But there is also like so just coming back, so it's super fun. We've got this like grumpy Scottish cop, and just, you know, imagining his voice is always a thrill for me. I'm sure for other people it will be too. And this you know, intrepid princess, but they are also trying to solve like a very legit international intrigue in that like there's this you know, first of all, it's like, you know, just because he left her the altar doesn't mean she doesn't care what happened to him. So like, what happened to her fiance? And then what are the implications internationally? And it turns out there is, of course, a bunch of intrigue around. It's not just like he left her at the, you know, I mean, it seems at first like he left her at the altar just for some vague emotional reason. But when you really think about it, like, no one would leave a princess at the altar without like a couple other reasons. So it's very cool to see them like work out what, like, kind of go back, because they sent her away, she like has lost time, but it also means that things have been able to be covered up, so then they kind of have to like retrace what happened while she was gone in order to figure out where her fiance is.
You are correct.
Yeah, so it's good. I think you sent me some early language when the book was first being announced, that this book has dead bodies and kissing, and I was like, that's everything anyone needs to know.
I mean, it's one of those things where, as I keep going on in my writing career, I realize that those two things will always spur a story on.
Yeah, totally.
If you get stuck, here's my second pro tip of the day.
Okay,
if you get
great.
stuck writing a book, have someone kiss, or have there be a dead body. And then, you know, both of those kind of change the trajectory of someone's life.
Oh, yeah.
But... Or maybe that's just me. Maybe
no, I think you're right.
I just like mixing
this is solid
all
advice.
of it together.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Or if they like kiss and then find a dead, like, yeah, it's really good.
But don't kiss the dead body.
No, don't do that.
I haven't gotten to that point yet, but you never know.
That would be really jumping the shark, I think.
Under my other pen name.
Yeah, under my other pen name, I just kiss dead bodies. No. All right, so yeah, I don't want to give stuff away, but there is a lot of mystery and suspense, and it is always fun, I think, to watch two very smart people develop feelings while also having to like rely heavily on their intellect is satisfying. And also then it means that they're in like close quarters when they're not supposed to be in close quarters.
I try very hard to get them in close quarters as often as possible.
Obviously. So you and you I think everything that I've ever read from you has some mystery or suspense element.
Yeah.
Plus kissing. So what's your, do you have any like big influences for that, or what's your favorite thing about writing that, or
I've been trying to work through that because I've kind of been taking a writing course this summer and it's always kind of me trying to figure out where I fit and like because people go, what do you write? I'm like, write these books with kissing and dead bodies. So I'm trying to like figure out a lot of my influences are, like I said, I think urban fantasy is a big that's what I've read for a long time. I think vampire stories are kind of that. There's an element of danger, there's an element of romance, there's an element of like bigger than life. So I mean I've read those for I don't even know how long. And then I think also I did a blog post recently on romantic adventure movies.
Ooh.
And it was when I was kind of doing this like deep introspection
yes
who I am as a writer. But I kind of started thinking about, okay, well, what kind of movies have I really enjoyed in my life? What movies really impacted me? And I realized there was a lot there. Thomas Crown Affair, Romancing the Stone.
Oh my God, Romancing the Stone and the Princess Bride. Oh my God, Romancing the Stone. I feel like Romancing the Stone and She Devil are like the two reasons why I wanted to be a writer. It's because I wanted to like have the same like adventure and like cry over my books in my New York City apartment like Joan Wilder. But then Meryl Streep has like the really amazing like all pink outfits and the like whenever she's writing, you know, it's like it's the really cliche like cheesy bits, and I was like, that sounds amazing. Like all I want to do is like pick words for nub and then wear pink and then like go to South America and rescue some jewels. I was like, clearly, if you're a writer, this is your life.
Right.
Yeah. No, these are formative movies you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. And so like Charade with Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn, kind of the same thing. Lots of switching sides and spies and missing husbands, and I mean, I think that really kind of when I pinpointed that one, I was like, oh, that had a big influence on me. Yeah. I love The Mummy.
Oh my gosh, Brendan Fraser. Oh,
yeah,
that
one. Because that again, I pinpointed that. I was like, oh, that's a big influence on this book too, because it's the bookish heroine who's like, no, wait, let me look up this ancient Egyptian scroll, and the guy's like, dude, the mummies, and like has to like whip her, you know, into his arms. So yeah, I love that mix, you know, that. Like, we're going to kiss, and then we're going to have to save the world.
Yeah. No, this is great. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I think, clearly, I don't know.
You're in for it?
I'm in for it. I also don't see why you would have to pick between, like, suspense or kissing. Like, I think kissing and dead bodies is, like, clearly the answer to everything. But I think I would say romantic adventure definitely fits your style better than romantic suspense.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, Alexis Ann, one of our friends, we had a talk, I think, on a podcast, when she was on the podcast, about how we both do, like, spy movies and spy thrillers, and the guys get girls in those books and movies, but you don't really ever see that. It's, like, kind of just a notch on their bedpost, or, you know, like, it's kind of used to, like, prove how manly they are.
Totally. Like, it's like a part of their virility. Yeah.
Right. I mean, James Bond is sad when his girlfriends die, because they always do. Yeah. But it's not like you're not really seeing that relationship in conjunction with the rest of the story. Right. And so when she said that, I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of intrigued with that possibility of writing I'm watching Jack Ryan right now on Amazon with my husband, and I'm kind of like, I would really like it for his epidemiologist girlfriend to come with him. Yeah. And she, you know, like, they're fighting something and they're working she's using medical knowledge and he's using CIA analysts. I'm like, now I have to write a fanfic about that. Hey Hey everyone, this is Lindsay. I hope you're enjoying this very special episode of Women with Books. I know it's a little bit different than what you're used to, but you know what? I only get a book release every so often, so I've decided to turn over the reins, so to speak, and give you all the information, probably more information than you wanted to know. This interview with Laura von Holt went a little longer than we expected, but we were having so much fun, we kept going. So it's actually going to be 2 parts. You just listen to part 1, and I'll put up part 2 next week. In the meantime, you know, go read The Royal Runaway so you can catch up and see all the stuff you're missing in this deep dive about my book from my newest book release from Gallery Books. And in the meantime, also check out Laura's podcast, The Mermaid Podcast, which is about mermaids, but is, I think, a lot of my listeners would probably like to hear those stories that are talked about over there too. It's really fun. So thank you for all your support and your good wishes and your purchases during release week, and stick around for part 2. I'll be posting that next week. Thanks, and keep reading.